Guys, I have a confession to make. I'm a theater kid, or I was technically. So, give or take 35 years ago, my parents signed me up to do this thing. It was, I want to say theater camp, but it wasn't really a camp. It was, I don't know, some theater thing. And this wasn't just some like school thing. No, this was like a full on theater that I actually performed in front of multiple live audiences. Heh, I was even on the news once in the background, and it was also very, very blurry. But alas, that was many years ago, and I have no plans of ever going back. Like, it was fun and I enjoyed doing it, but I think ultimately I prefer to do more behind the camera things. But during my theater escapades, I actually had a shot at the chance of a lifetime, and it was squandered. Basically, there was this children's book series called Timmy Failure. Timmy is a kid detective who solves all kinds of different mysteries, and he's also extremely, extremely full of himself. Least arrogant children's book protagonist to be like. And his sidekick is a polar bear named Total. Not a talking polar bear, just an ordinary polar bear. He is also the single greatest character in all of fictional writing. Timmy can best be described as a narcissistic dickhead. He looks down at everyone else and sees himself as the only right option all the time. The way I'm describing him, he almost sounds like a Sigma male type character. I guess I still have Perfect Girl stuck in my head after doing the last video. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I telling you all this about Timmy Failure Kid Detective? Well, you see, there was going to be, or there actually is, a Timmy Failure live action movie, and I could have been in it. I could have been Timmy Failure. And the movie originally began production while I was still doing theater, so of course I was all over it. The crew was in my town looking for someone that matched the right description, and when I heard the requirements, I was like, oh my god, that is literally me! And one of my old theater buddies, Vito, apparently also wanted to get this role all to himself, so naturally, a great rivalry grew between us. Not really, though. However, as fate would have it, neither of us would get the role, since apparently the movie was too expensive to make, probably because there's supposed to be a giant CGI polar bear, and so it ended up getting cancelled. And thus the Timmy Failure movie never came to be. Until it did. And yeah, in 2020, Disney Plus just randomly revived this long dead movie and made the Timmy Failure movie. Without me. Is it good? Well, let's see. The Timmy Failure movie tells the tale of a delusional individual whose entire world is crumbling around him. Timmy's dad ran off to go be a musician or something, and his mom has to work two jobs, so she's barely ever around. And in response to this, his brain creates this false reality in which he is the center of attention. Timmy actually thinks he's a real detective solving mysteries and saving the world, even though he can't find a missing Swiss Army knife even after staring directly at it. And hey, wait, why is there a giant polar bear following him around everywhere he goes? How come no one reacts to it? How come it doesn't kill and eat him immediately? Well, because it's not a real polar bear. It's just a figment of his imagination. Total is loyal enough to Timmy so he can be a valued sidekick, but still incompetent enough to make Timmy feel superior to him. Polar bears, in a way, parallel Timmy's situation, since polar bear habitats are dying and Timmy's world is falling apart. Throughout the movie, there are these Family Guy style cutaway gags, and as funny as they are, ultimately they are just further proof of Timmy's decaying psychological health. In fact, even the most action-packed scene in the movie, which is like shown in all the trailers and even built up throughout the whole movie, is ultimately revealed to just be a dream sequence. At one point, he tackles his teacher and then like breaks his neck or something, and then after that, he's only seen during dream sequences, which in my mind is basically confirmation that Timmy just accidentally killed his own teacher. Oh yeah, and Timmy also hates Russians. Like, if he meets anyone who in the slightest way has a connection to the country of Russia, then he will immediately consider them a suspect. Man, if they had Timmy during the Cold War, he could smell a commie from miles away. Everyone in Timmy's life just wants the best for him, but he knows clearly that isn't true. Only he wants the best for him because only he knows what's best for him. At one point, things start to seem as though Timmy maybe actually is right and everything really is happening, but you see, don't let them fool you. That's what the filmmakers want you to think, because now you're seeing things completely from Timmy's eyes. From this perspective, everything is real. Everything is actually happening, when in reality, it is not. In fact, I'd even go as far as to argue the entire ending of the movie is completely fabricated. In the end, his mom does not forgive him. There is no lesson learned. Nobody, the people of the town don't come to like Timmy. No. From the moment his detective agency is taken away from him to the very end of the movie, it is all a complete fabrication of his decaying sanity. I like the way Winslow Fegley portrays Timmy, since apart from a few mental breakdowns here and there, Timmy is pretty wooden throughout most of it. He does feel kind of like this emotionless cardboard robot, basically, which, that could maybe be because Winslow is, like, younger, he's a bit more, what's the word, amateur, maybe he's, like, not as experienced. That could be it. Not trying to say he's a bad actor, but like that could be the reason why. But I also feel like that does fit Timmy because of his personality. You might be thinking that like I'm joking when I say this, but no, this is in the movie. This is literally what happens. Like, once you're done with this video, I want you to go on Disney Plus if you have it. If you don't, then just pirate it. It's fine. That's what I did. And I want you to watch the entire Timmy Failure 2020 the movie start to finish. And I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that this isn't about a mentally delusional kid slowly losing his mind. Tell me that's not true. In conclusion, Timmy Failure tells the story of a kid that basically lived a life so bad he forced himself to live a new life. A life where he was the main character, where he was the one who would fix everything. A life where he wasn't a total failure. I really did like this movie a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm really fine not getting the role. Like I said before, I prefer more behind the camera work. I appreciate that Disney Plus chose to make this, because not only is it an original movie that wasn't some, like, reboot or sequel to a pre-existing franchise or anything like that, but it was actually a long-dead project that had been buried for years. One day, old friend. One day. And really, when you think about it, if I had gotten the role and I became some big, famous Hollywood celebrity, this channel probably wouldn't exist. I mean, a channel might exist, but it probably won't be like this one. And at the same time, Winslow Fegley also probably wouldn't have found success either. So, in that regard, this is the better timeline. But either way, Vito still didn't get the role. Ha! Eat it, Vito! I won! Yes! Hey, wait. Do I smell something? Is that a... No. Kami! Kami!